My name is Anna. When I was 26, I met a man named David. He was kind, quiet, and always polite. He worked as a photographer and had a soft way of speaking that made people feel safe. I was working at a small bookstore back then, and he came in one day looking for a poetry book. That was the beginning. We started dating soon after. He told me he had been in a long relationship before, but they had broken up a year ago. I didn't ask much. I believed everyone had a past. What mattered to me was the present. 6 months later, we got married. I moved into his apartment, a place filled with soft light and framed pictures, most of which were nature scenes. But there were also a few photos of a woman. He said she was a friend. I nodded. I didn't want to seem jealous. I was trying to be the perfect wife. In the beginning, things were okay. We had dinner together, watched old movies, and went on walks in the evening. But over time, something started to feel wrong. He became distant. His eyes looked far away when I spoke. Sometimes he smiled to himself, as if remembering something sweet, something that didn't include me. One night, I found an old notebook in the drawer. It wasn't hidden, but it wasn't left out either. Inside were poems. Love poems. All written to a woman named Claire. I didn't ask him about it that night. I just stared at the name, Claire. Over and over. The way he had written it with so much feeling, it was more than just a past. It was a heart still tied to someone else. The distance grew. He stopped touching me. He stopped asking how my day was. I stopped waiting for him to care. A year passed. I finally asked him if he still loved her. He said nothing. That silence was louder than any answer. We divorced quietly. No fights. No drama. Just papers and empty rooms. After that, I tried to heal. I focused on my work. I moved to a new city. I met new people. And after 2 years, I met someone else. His name was Ethan. He was funny, smart, and very warm. He made me laugh, something I had forgotten how to do. He wasn't like David. He didn't keep his thoughts locked away. At least, that's what I believed at first. We got married after a year. I thought maybe this time, it would be different. I thought maybe I had learned how to choose better. But not long after the wedding, I saw her name on his phone, Sophie. I asked, and he told me the truth. She was someone from his past. They had been together for many years, but she had moved abroad. He said they were just friends now. I wanted to believe him. But I saw how his face changed when he said her name. I noticed how often he checked his messages. I noticed how sometimes he smiled at his phone, but when I asked what was funny, he said nothing. I felt it all over again. That same cold distance. That same quiet rejection. Months passed. I tried to fix things. I cooked his favorite meals. I planned weekend trips. I laughed at his jokes even when they weren't funny. But his heart wasn't with me. It was still with Sophie. Eventually, I let go. I couldn't go through the same pain again. We divorced. Again, no shouting. Just sadness. Just silence. And now, I live alone. In a small apartment with big windows. I fill the space with plants and light. I write in journals. I walk in the park. I make tea in the mornings and play soft music at night. I've learned something important. Sometimes, people are not ready to love someone new because they never stopped loving someone old. And no matter how kind, patient, or giving you are, You can't make someone's heart belong to you if it already belongs to someone else. But I still believe in love. Just not the kind I've been given so far. I was alone again. My second marriage was broken. I sat on the bed in my small apartment. The room was quiet. The walls were empty. My heart was empty too. I looked out the window. The sky was gray. I felt like the sky was feeling what I was feeling. Nothing looked beautiful anymore. Everything was heavy. My thoughts, my memories, my dreams, all broken. I thought about the first man I married. He never loved me. He always talked about his first wife. He looked at her photos when he thought I didn't see. I tried to be patient. I cooked for him. I cleaned the house. I smiled when I wanted to cry. But he never saw me. I was like a shadow to him. After the divorce, I met someone new. He was kind. He listened to me. He said he cared about me. I believed him. I hoped he was different. But slowly, I saw the signs. He started talking about another woman. He laughed when she called. He smiled at her messages. My heart broke again. I tried to talk to him. He said I was imagining things. But I knew. I knew he loved her, not me. So I left. Now I was alone. Twice divorced. Twice broken. People said I was unlucky. People whispered when I walked into the shop. But they didn't know my pain. They didn't know how hard I tried. I gave love. I gave everything. But I got nothing back. I made tea and sat by the window. I told myself, I don't need a man to feel happy. I don't need someone to complete me. I will find peace in myself. The next day, I walked to the park. I saw children playing. I smiled. It was the first real smile in a long time. I watched the trees move in the wind. The leaves danced. For a moment, I forgot the past. I sat on a bench. A little girl ran to me and gave me a flower. "For you," she said. I took it. I held the flower like it was gold. At that moment, I realized something. I didn't lose. I was not weak. I was strong. I left pain behind. I chose myself. That is not a failure. That is courage. I looked at the sky again. It was still gray, but I saw a small light behind the clouds. The sun was there. It was waiting to shine again. I kept going to the park every day. The small flower from the little girl was in a glass on my table. It reminded me that kindness still exists. Sometimes, people who hurt us make us forget the good things in the world, but I wanted to remember. I started to meet new people at the park. There was a woman who always smiled at me. She told me stories about her life. She said, "Life is hard, but we are stronger." Her words made me feel brave. I shared some stories too. I told her how I felt after my 2 divorces, how lonely I was, and how I wanted to find happiness inside myself. Slowly, I began to find peace. I took small steps to build a new life. I found a job at a small bookstore. I loved the smell of books, the quietness, and the stories inside. Every day, I helped customers and listened to their stories. It made me feel less alone. I also started writing again. Writing helped me express my feelings. I wrote about love, loss, hope, and strength. Sometimes, I cried while writing, but the tears cleaned my heart. My stories became a way to heal. One day, a man came into the bookstore. He was kind and gentle. He asked for a book about happiness. I smiled and gave him a book I liked.